Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Brother Djuan Owens should be joining us here shortly. I had to get started because if you do not start within a certain time or at a certain time, you can't go live on Facebook. So we're going to go ahead and get started now. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Greatly appreciated. As we do before we get started, we just like to show our gratitude. Everyone, thank you so much for the support over the years. Thank you so much for supporting Search for Uhuru. Thank you for coming back. And all that good stuff. Guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Let me run the banner real quick. Let's get this banner cracking. There we go. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com as well. Also, super chat. In fact, that's the one right there. Hey, bro, I emailed you the link. Yeah, I emailed it. Okay, all right. So Djuan is coming on right now, everybody. So again, like, share, and subscribe. Also, too, make sure you guys go and buy the book, okay? Sales Motivation 101. Get off your butt and cold call. Go support and buy the book. Also buy the children's books as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining. Also, donate to the church. Your tithes. You guys got to pay your tithes, okay? Cash App, amirdynast is on the scroller down there at the bottom. So make sure you guys pay your tithes today, okay? So let's get Brother Djuan on. Guys, so in about 30 minutes, so after I get Djuan on, we're going to go for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, then I will post the email so you guys could call in. And shout out to Fafu Malal Bawoni, so you guys could call in and ask a question. So that's how we're going to run the platform today. So I am waiting on Djuan. So today's topic is Pan-Africanism post George Floyd. Now, with all these recent shootings of unarmed black men at the hands of police, what I've been saying for the past, 2020, what I've been saying for the past 8-9 years doesn't seem so crazy now. So after I went to Africa in 2011, I fell in love with the country. With the continent. I'm sorry, with the Tanzania. Fell in love with the country. And in 2011, 2012, I started to tell people, consider relocating to Africa. People thought I was crazy. People thought I was sick. People thought I needed to be committed to a mental institution. But now, with the climate that we're in, I don't look so crazy. And it's very interesting now. Like, I now do not look so crazy. Because back then, I was nuts. I was crazy. I need to be committed to a mental institution. Dynast, what is wrong with you? Somebody check on Dynast. Check his head. He's crazy in the head. He's mad in the head. I mean, this guy spends his free time or as much time as possible in Africa. Why is he doing that? What's wrong with this guy? But now, people are starting to come around. So how does Pan-Africanism look post George Floyd? Now, I know you guys heard about Ghana. Here we go. Go ahead, brother.
Man, can you see me?
Yeah, we see you.
Hey, we live?
Yeah, we live.
All right, my man.
What's good, brother? Go ahead and introduce yourself. Everybody, brother Djuan Owens on.
Your brother's feeling good, man. Out here melanated, motivated, ready to do my thing, man. You know how it is.
Okay, all right, yeah. So today's topic is Pan-Africanism post George Floyd. Now, I was telling people back when I went to Africa for the first time in 2011, 2012, people thought I was sick. They thought I was crazy. And when I even suggested that, hey, look, let's consider relocating to Africa.
Yes, indeed.
People thought I was crazy. But now, speed up 2020 with all the recent killings of unarmed black men at the hands of police, I don't seem so crazy anymore.
Right.
Like, I don't seem so crazy anymore. In fact, I have people emailing me saying, Dynast, I thought you was nuts when I first saw you in Mali with the Dogon. But now, shoot, I understand. Like, even some of my family members were like, man, we thought you was crazy. But shoot,
especially the family members.
Right. Like one of my family members was like, "Dinas, I thought you was crazy. I thought you was sick. But now, shoot, I get it. Why you always go to Africa whenever you get a chance."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's where we're at now. So guys, like, share, and subscribe. Djuan, go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are.
My name's Djuan Owens. I'm a Pan-Africanist. That's probably the most definitive identifying marker. Obviously, I'm somebody who's about justice. A revolutionary Pan-Africanist. Let me be specific. Professionally, I'm a prize fighter. I'm a self-defense instructor, and also a lot of my focus, in addition to combating white supremacy and building Black power, is combating gender-based violence and intimate partner violence.
You know, tell everybody what you do in Uganda.
So for sure, one of the projects that we do, it's called Fighting for Uganda, where we go to Uganda maybe twice a year, and then we do free self-defense seminars for the community. But in addition to the seminars, you know, we talk about, again, gender-based violence, intimate partner violence. We break down consent, some common misconceptions about that, and we also talk about, you know, men's role and, you know, respecting and protecting women and boys and girls in our community. And obviously, you know, on the back end, you know, I'm there and I'm speaking on Pan-Africanism, you know, and doing business as well. So, but that's of all the countries in Africa that I've been to, Uganda is probably my favorite. Well, it is my favorite.
What countries have you been to?
I've been to Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, Senegal, South Africa, but only for a moment. I didn't really get to, you know, chop it up like that. And Mali very briefly. But again, I didn't get to, you know, do my thing there like I wanted to. And the Gambia as well.
Okay. So you like Uganda over Senegal and over Senegal?
Yeah, man. You know, like I like Senegal, but the language barrier was tough for me because you know, in Senegal, majority of people they speak Wolof and the colonial language there is French. And you know, in addition to knowing a little bit of Kiswahili and you know, Luganda, working on Luganda, I don't know any Wolof, you know, and in addition to that, like, again, because of colonialism, English is the colonial language there, unfortunately. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword. The benefit for me is that, you know, it's a lot of people's first language. It's not even like, you know, this is kind of something that only the kind of educated class can speak. Everybody speaks English in Uganda perfectly. So, as you can imagine, the type of connections that I could build there are a little bit stronger. You did.
All right. Now, what are your thoughts on the recent George Floyd situation? Murder George Floyd.
Yeah. This execution, I mean, is obviously one of the most egregious that we've seen recorded, but we know this happens. Like we know this happens. There's never been a time that state-sanctioned violence against African people has not happened. There's never been a time that it happened. Even if we think about the police system as an outgrowth of slave patrols or night watch or what they call paddy rollers, you know, we're very aware of this. You know, even when we think of not just police, but even the KKK, this was state-sanctioned, but there's never anything done about it. So this is in a larger community, I guess this may be a wake-up call to some people, but I think what is more indicative of is a breaking point, you know, because again, this was just it was so brutal. You know, we understand how they always try to play the I was scared and all this type of silliness. But it was none of that. It was a slow death. It was execution. And then they couldn't chalk it up as like one bad officer because we seen the rest of these demons not only just watching but helping, you know. Over 600 pounds of pressure on his brother's back and his body. Like we saw that. So I think we got to the point now where our people are reaching a critical mass and hopefully people are starting to see what happens when you operate as a unit. Like one thing that we see a lot, especially in regards to a lot of these mainstream media outlets, even the ones that are black fronted, they're still white, but they're black fronted. Like this, you know, Blavity, The Root, Madame Noir, all this goofy stuff. It's just this idea, and you'll hear people bragging like, "Oh, we are not a monolith. We are not," but we're monolithically oppressed. So we need to monolithically get on code and boss up. And I think people are starting to see the value of that. Like that revolutionary energy is, you know, I feel it. And I don't want to be, you know, naive, but I really do feel like, you know, it's stirring within the masses of the consciousness of people.
Let me ask you this, Juan. So, you know, when you look at the protests, you know, you see black people, you see white people, you see Asians, and you see Hispanics. And now I hear some murmurings like, look, a lot of black people saying there's finally a change. Like Mitt Romney was marching with the protesters. You know, you even had police officers who usually, like, whenever an unarmed man gets killed gets killed on camera, they're like, well, you know, he should have complied or he should have did this. But now they're like, nah, that's messed up. So a lot of black people are taking that like, okay, there's actually some change going on. What are your thoughts on that?
So is that what it takes? It takes this type of black death, like perfectly caught on camera, a slow death, a slow strangulation. This like I mean, is that what it takes for people to say, hey, this is wrong? I mean, come on, let's stop. You know, we gotta be honest about this, man. Like collectively, too many of our people are suffering from a deep-seated racial inferiority complex, and we need white, well, just non-black in general, justification for black rage to be legitimized. So the fact that other people are seeing this, feeling like this too, hey, this is wrong, it's like now it's validating. Fuck that. We already know what it is. So what happens is this society, white supremacy, obviously we know we live in a global system, white supremacy, but we got to start there. But this society will transform, it will shapeshift, it will do what it always does, and finds another way to double down on what we call soft ethnic cleansing. Right. So outright execution like this, you know, and I'm not saying it's not good. Like it is good that, you know, this thing adjusts in this way, but best believe that the slow death, and not just the social death that black people go through, but the slow death of, you know, school to prison pipeline, private owned prisons, jail system, like just, you know, the slow death, gentrification, that's gonna continue. The gross inequality, and wealth inequality, that's inequality is an understatement. It's a damn chasm. Like it's
right.
a damn near endless pit if we talk about the difference. So what we need to focus on is, you know, if we're serious about African liberation, is changing the power differential between African people and non-African people. That should be our priority. And like, you know, I don't have anything against the slogan Black Lives Matter. We all understand as an organization it has been co-opted to an extent. But
yeah, it's been co-opted, not to an extent.
Right. Folk that don't know. We don't got to go ahead into that. Folk don't know. Yeah. But as far as the slogan, you know, it's not about appealing to morality and convincing other people that Black Lives Matter. If we have power, then we can command that Black Lives Matter, because we can punish people if they don't understand that. You dig?
Absolutely, guys. Make sure you like the video as well. Please like the video now. So
y'all support my brother. Like this thing.
Yeah, thank you, man. Support this, man.
Listen, one thing on that note, man. Y'all, it don't cost nothing to like something, to share something. So even if, you know, there's ever something said by my brother or me or any guest, you know, whether you agree with it or not, we're just individuals that are speaking to something that obviously we all feel is important, or we wouldn't be here watching. So, you know, if you're about, you know, African liberation, you're about Black liberation and justice, then, you know, support, get this message out, because these are the type of conversations that need to happen, right? People are sharing like some damn twerk videos all damn day. Yeah. Because, you know, they don't like one specific thing that someone says in regards to the way we fight. Yeah. Exactly. Because they don't believe they don't agree with one specific thing in the way we're supposed to fight this unjust system. They'll say, oh, fuck that. So, you know, I gotta lovingly, you know, slap some of us up too, and myself included. So just, you know, share this thing. Y'all like this thing.
Now, I guess one of the Ghanaian ambassadors came out and said that Black Americans are welcome back home to Ghana.
Yeah.
No, that's like a first. And, you know, even the African Union acknowledged what happened to George Floyd and spoke out against it.
Yep.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because usually they don't say nothing. You know.
Well, again, this goes back to what like, we got to understand the power that we have in reaching a critical mass. You know, when you reach critical mass, stuff changes. I mean, you know, we have to understand that family, our power is in our solidarity. Our power is in our solidarity. We're all fighting the same fight. We're all fighting the same system. You know, we need to replace the system with a system of justice, and everybody understands that. So that the fact that olive branch is being extended is very important. Now, I understand, you know, we're gonna have the Negro naysayers, the people who, no matter what happens, it's never enough. No matter what happens, oh, this is about this, that. But regardless of what, for people who are on code and for people who are serious about Black liberation and not just using wokeness as an excuse not to put in the work or an excuse to justify putting your hands up and not competing in the system. Take this for what it is. Say, okay, if they're going to say this, how do we take advantage of that? How do we actualize that? And we can also organize and hold them to task. Be like, okay, you said this. Now, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to? But that's going to take a collectiveness and an orientation to take advantage of that. So to me, like I said, it's a beautiful thing. And while this kind of energy is in the air right now, for people who are seriously committed to Black African liberation, we have to be at the forefront of cultivating and harnessing that energy, because the dominant society, be clear, will try to rock people back to sleep. They will come out with some, some symbolic bullshit at times. They will, but while people are receptive, while people are feeling that, we gotta take advantage of that, instead of just saying, oh, well, now y'all want to be woke. I've been woke. Forget y'all. No. If this is what it is, this is the change we want, then let's steer the ship and steer people in the right place.
Shout out to thank you for the super chat. 4 a.m. in China, but here representing for NorCal. Where in NorCal are you from? Yeah, where are you from in NorCal? I'm from Sac, so I'm from Sacramento, family. I'm from Sacramento. So the future of Pan-Africanism, moving forward. Yeah. How does that look like?
Family, first thing we got to start. Listen, man, our ancestors aren't wrong. The late great Dr. Clark told us a long time ago, Pan-Africanism or perish. So anything that is trying to stop the connection, in solidarity between African people globally is bullshit. It's a deterrent and it's excuses. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this, but my brother and I had this conversation almost a year ago to this day. Because it was before I had that fight in Canada. And everybody was talking about ADOS. They were talking about FBA. Where they at now? Where are these movements at now? We have to understand the okie doke that's out there. Like we gotta be serious. Now that doesn't mean that culture and lineage don't matter, or that we don't have specific fights that we need to fight for. That's a very real thing. That's a very real thing, because the difference between colonialism and imperialism, and it manifests in different ways. But one thing that is universal about that is the oppression of African people. So we need to be thinking globally. So when I think of Pan-Africanism in action, an effective orientation of Pan-Africanism, it's not just saying, Garvey Show did break it down, or Thomas Sankara Show did. It's building on that revolutionary legacy and actualizing that. And so much of that, in addition to, of course, understanding our history, is weaponizing it in the way with the tools that we have access to today, that our ancestors, our heroes and sheroes didn't have. When you think about the resourcefulness and the ambition of Garvey, what he did a century ago, you tell Black folk, you tell people you want to do some of the things he did back then, people will say you're crazy.
He's crazy.
You understand? And what he built with no media, with no social media. I mean, he had the newspaper. You know what I mean? But with social media now, with all of the things, with not only social media, but with the way we can transfer money now that don't cost, it costs nothing.
Pennies on a dollar, even that.
Speak on it, brother. Say it again.
I said pennies on a dollar, if even that, to transfer money.
Exactly. We have to take advantage of this, and we have to take advantage of the technological advances we have today. Dr. Clark, I'm gonna quote our brother again. He said, we've got to take everything that comes into our life and use it as an instrument of our liberation, and throw it into the ass cans of history. And we have a lot of resources at our disposal now, but we've got to weaponize them and form them for African liberation, for Black liberation.
Absolutely. Guys, if you want to call in and ask a question, the email address is in the chat room. Send me an email. Again, send me an email, and I will send you the link, and you can come on and ask your question. Again, if you want to email me, if you want to hop on, send me an email, and I will send you the link. As far as the future of Black people here in America, how does that look like? I know that's a very vague.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I don't believe that there's going to be some mass exodus of African people, and I don't think there has to be. Like, as somebody who, again, let me be clear, I'm a Pan-Africanist, through and through. But my family's from Gulfport, Mississippi. This is direct route to slavery here, Jim Crow, and all this shit. So we got our stake in this shit too. You know, Khalid Muhammad broke down a long time ago. The world is our home and Africa is our throne. You
Right.
dig? So we need to prioritize the development of our homeland, of our motherland.
Right.
Cut out the damn middleman, because you know we still benefit from Africa through proxy of whatever white folks sell back to us, that trickle down Pan-Africanism. So just
Right.
cut out the middleman and do it yourself. So yeah, I do think, you know, for people that want to go, whether they stay or not, doesn't matter, you know, but make the connections, and that's what's to me most important, because it's
Right.
not
Building bridges, yeah.
it's not practical or feasible just from a financial standpoint for everybody to go back anyway. Let's be clear. We still live in this capitalist system, but there's nothing stopping us from making the connections that we need to get a lot of business popping and things like that. There's a lot of untapped potential that we have as Africans in the diaspora, and no matter where you are, whether you're in North America, South America, the UK, you know, or anywhere else, you know. So we need to take advantage of that. So first thing first, we need to be thinking Pan-Africanism first. But if you are in a position to go, then for sure, go. It's a beautiful thing. Make some contacts on the ground and get it popping. You know, I mean, have a goal and a plan. And if you need help with that, then contact my brother.
Yeah.
Contact Dynast. You know, contact me. You know, but you know, Dynast got plenty of connections, many connections. So let's take advantage of that. And like I said, cut out the middleman.
Absolutely, guys. Again, like, share, and subscribe. I just, you know, the email is in the chat room. If you want to call in and ask a question, send an email to uhuru@searchforhoover.com, uhuru@searchforhoover.com, and we will definitely, you know, address your question. Let's see here. Now you got what's the next fight?
Yeah, man. So my training's been real jacked up with this, you know, with COVID. So in the quarantine, so I'm still teaching my self-defense now and teaching some MMA, but we had to adjust a lot of shit. It's pretty much like some cardio workout stuff. So, you know, you fighting on a high level, I seriously have to be, you know, grappling and striking.
Mm-hmm.
So as of now, it's kind of on pause right now, man. But I'm still focusing on the self-defense. I got more time, you know, to speak, you know, with the community, with the family. So I'm trying to take advantage of that. And but yeah, once this thing is you know, we're back to some level of normalcy, your brother gonna be back on the grind and going hard in the paint, throwing them things in the cage, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Let's see if we got any questions in the chat room.
Okay.
Any questions in the chat room? This is African American power bases in Africa. Let unity and be a stronger. I can't understand that question.
It might have been a statement, maybe.
Yeah. Like African American power base in Africa. Let unity and be a stronger.
Yeah, I think he's just building on what we're saying. Like the wording was kind of tough for me, but he's basically saying, like, you know, yeah, like, you know, Africa is the base. And let me say one thing real quick, Dynast. So you know, your brother was in the Marine Corps at a very young age. I went in when I was 17. But one thing that the military does, the American military does, besides just investing in like a tremendous amount of money, they have bases everywhere. They have bases everywhere. And those bases do not serve the interest of the constituents of the society, but they are. It serves America's benefit. This is warfare. This is tactics. So we are, regardless of how this came to be, we're in a very strategic position. We have African people everywhere on the globe. That is a weapon. That is beneficial. We need to tap into that. We need to understand identity. You know, and again, I'm not knocking, you know, this is not about culture. I'm not trying to, you know, I'm saying that because I've heard some things before. It's not about race and culture. You have your culture, but you're a part of a larger global family that is also oppressed. So we need to be thinking globally, and we need to be united and fighting globally. Because I'll tell you something about the dominant society. If we're talking about America, whether it's so-called liberals or conservatives, one thing they always agree on is oppressing and benefiting off of our backs. Now, if we think about that globally, these countries will fight each other. They'll do whatever. But one thing they're always aware of is that, you know, the position that they're in the world, and they'll support each other, and they'll do the best they can to stifle that active collectivism and Pan-Africanism. We've seen that so many times.
Now they were, I guess, suggesting that in Minnesota that they defund the police or disband the police. Like, how does that look like?
Right. So yeah. So I want to bring some clarity to that. So a lot of times when people hear people say defund the police, they're like, oh, this is a pipe dream. It's like defunding the police is not about disbanding the police. It's about attacking some of the surplus money they have and redistributing that money. Now, when they say defunding them, like, family, you got to understand, it's not about police getting paid a lot, but these institutions get a tremendous amount of money. And what they do with that money is militarize the military. I'm sorry. Well, I was right, but wrong.
Militarize, military, but not. Yeah.
Right. They militarize the police. So and this is another thing that I want the family to understand. I'm not saying we don't, but more of us need to understand is that when there are these big settlements and these big payouts, we pay for that. Taxpayers pay for that. Black people pay for that. Right. Even if it's us that's being brutalized. So if we could organize, and we'll get into politics later. I don't think that's the end all be all, but it is a tool. And advocate for certain things where their insurance is attacked. Where there will be some that would be a major deterrent if they had to pay for that, whether they would pay for the surplus money that they get or it's taken out of I don't know, like funds that they have access to that they use for all kind of other unnecessary stuff. They would fix it themselves, but there's no incentive to, because they're not paying for it, unfortunately. So that's what people mean when they talk about defund it. It's not about just disbanding it in general.
I think we got okay. Ije Zone. I just sent you the link. Go ahead and call in. Ije Zone. I just sent you the link. Go ahead and call in. Yeah, because I'm thinking they're making it seem like they're gonna get rid of the police, and I'm like, okay, then who's gonna, I guess, police the communities?
That's not it. Yeah, so that's not the goal. It just sounds better to say defund the police as opposed to like restrict some of the the money they have to this and that, all that kind of stuff. But and don't get it twisted. Maybe I'm sure there is a segment of people that may feel like that, but one that's not gonna happen. And two, to feel like that is crazy, because if that was to happen, a lot of people are not ready for what that would take for the community. We would have to be policing our communities. We would have to, anyway, that would take a lot. And not that that's not necessary. We need to be doing it anyway. But again, we still live in this capitalist system where your time is your money. So we got to think about the time it would take and then the conversation that would take and all that kind of stuff.
Perfect. Kay, go ahead, brother.
Hey, Dynast, how are you, man? Bawoni.
Bawoni. Ekale. But where are you located? Where are you located?
I'm located in Toronto.
Okay. Well, Ekurele.
Peace, brother.
Ekurele. Peace. But you know me, I'm on Niger, 100%.
Oh, I'm on Niger.
Black. Nice meeting you, brother. Listening to you, you're making a lot of sense. Like you, I consider myself a Pan-Africanist. I'm from Nigeria. So a lot of what you're saying is fact. I did go to school in the United States, so I'm familiar with a lot of the things you're talking about. As a matter of fact, African-American history and what African-Americans went through was something that was alien to me until I got to school in the United States and I took African-American history class. And it really opened my eyes to a lot of different things, not just on an African-American perspective, but then I started analyzing things on an African perspective. And then I realized, damn, we're not going through things that are too dissimilar.
Right.
Just on African-American perspective, you guys, I consider African-Americans experts in interpersonal racial relationships, because African-Americans had to deal.
We're in the belly of the beast.
Exactly. They had to deal with, you can't get a job in the United States without having to go through a white person. You can't live a life without having to go through the majority of the population, right? In Africa, right? In Nigeria, and Dynast can attest to this, you could live your entire life
not see one white person.
or interact with one white person.
Yeah.
So I remember when I got to the United States, my African American, something would happen, and my African American would say, "Hey, that dude was racist," and I'd be like, "Really?" And they'd be like, "Yes, you don't see it," and I didn't see it because I didn't know better. I never interacted with white people on that level to understand. So what we're going through right now on an educational level is one where Africans in Africa, a lot of them, and I talk to tons of them every day, don't understand the interpersonal relationship. What we are going through is on a national level. So we're going through racism on a national and global level through the World Bank, through the International Monetary Fund, through subjugation of governments, through assassinations of presidents,
Sanctions,
through sanctions, which is
the
economic,
funding
which
of
is
coups.
the funding of coups, which is economic terrorism, right?
Speak like
From
that.
1980 to the 2000s, there were over 15 assassinations of African leaders. Just think about that for a second. 15 assassinations, people just randomly getting killed, military coups, people getting thrown out of power, right? So you start to immediately understand that the racism there isn't on people in African countries. Don't deal with white people. They don't see them, but they deal with them through their governments, right? So
Neocolonialism.
Neocolonialism is what Nkrumah called it. Nkrumah called it neocolonialism, right?
He broke it
So
down even before it was actualized. Yep.
correct. So you see that. So this is the struggle that people are going through, and what African Americans go through. It's a manifestation of that on a personal level, right? So my thing is, and I listen to you say, hey, people in the diaspora, North America, South America, Europe, wherever, they have skills, and you're absolutely correct. And I think I've mentioned this on Dana's show before, is that there's skill sets that people have, especially technical skill sets or what we call crafts, that people have in the United States, African Americans have in the United States, and that is it's in Africa, but it's not as rampant. You don't see it as much, So on that tip, what can be done is to immediately create an environment where you attract the leadership in specific African countries. And I'll give you an example.
Go ahead.
In Nigeria, you have state governors, right? You have state governors. I'm from Delta State in Nigeria, right? But every state has a governor.
Right.
Dinas, if I told you this, most people might think I'm BSing, but
Right.
if a group of African Americans got together in Atlanta, wherever, in Chicago, wherever, and they said, we would like to invite the state governor for Ogun State, state governor for Delta State, the state governor for whomever, to come and talk about interacting with investors for their states in Nigeria. I'm using Nigeria as an example. Those guys would, if they don't come, their commissioner for trade and policy would come.
Right.
And that guy in itself can come, and you can have the African America or the Black Chamber of Commerce for that particular area present with all the businesses associated with them, especially the ones that have skill sets, plumbing, electrical work, tiling, roofing, and they can immediately talk to that guy about partnering with Nigerian companies that have access to business. And all of a sudden, they're generating a totally different stream of income that's not in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So that in itself, those kind of things create opportunities that I honestly believe can easily be like Dinas, for instance. Dinas went to Ororua, Abi. You went to Ororua. Yeah, Ororua. Or no, Osun State.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's a 6 degrees of separation. You could get in contact with the governor of Osun State through one person or the next. And you could say, hey, listen, we want to create an African American economic alliance.
Well, let me stop you right there. We're already doing that in Abeokuta in Ogun State. We have the farm co-op.
Okay.
400 acres. So
there you go.
Now we didn't get the government involved, but we're doing it. So
yeah, and
we
I
need
think
more hands on that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think, it is one of those things where I think a lot of African Americans, a lot of African Americans I met, I'm always like, hey, listen, man, you guys want to come to Nigeria, come through. You got me. I'll take you over there. You don't just come. As soon as you get to the airport, we'll pick you up. You got a place to stay. You got food. Don't even bring no cash, right? But a lot of them are resistant to come down, and I think you see that. But if you start having specific African Americans that are taking advantage of economic opportunities, generating income, they're like, hey, listen, I got my business here, but last year I generated another 50 G's from my partner in Nigeria or in Togo or in Ghana. Now you have a bunch of other people that are saying, wait, maybe I need to take a look at this. Maybe this African thing might be, So, I that's the one thing I wanted to mention to you, brother. I think, everything you said is spot on. I was listening intently to everything you were saying, and I love it.
Much respect.
Love it. Yeah,
Appreciate
man. Same here, man. Love it, man.
Well, man, did you want to say something, Donis?
Yeah, I'm just on another note. I hope they open everything up. So Lagos, Murtala Muhammad, they're supposed to open up the airport next week, I think, supposedly.
Yeah. But right now they have a curfew. Things are open up, but they just have a curfew where after a while you can't go outside. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful, man. In Nigeria, I think total about 300 deaths. It's been really, really nothing. Yeah. So in a country of 200 million. So
that's our resourcefulness, man. That's
and I tell you what, there's a lot. There's so much. I was reading an article today on the Guardian in the UK Guardian about how the British destroyed some paperwork evidence from the atrocities they committed against the Mau Maus in Kenya. Yep. They pretty much destroyed the historical records. So you start, and I think of so many people.
They allegedly found the remains of Djuan
Kamati. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, allegedly.
I don't know if that was true, but I heard that as well. I saw what they put out about that. What do you think about the legitimacy of that?
I really didn't look into it, but I mean, they've been looking for his remains for years, and like people knew, but they were just so afraid to tell. Like they were just afraid of the repercussions if they revealed his remains. But I think they finally found it. So
yeah, brother, it's so difficult these days, and I could tell you this, Black man, in African countries, there's so many people that don't know their history, right? So and it's so sad and unfortunate, and even you know what, and I don't blame the people, right? Because I was that person at a young age,
my man.
But then I had this curiosity. I wanted to know. So I went out and read about Nkrumah. I read about Sankara. I read about Jomo Kenyatta. I read about all these guys, and I started figuring out, like, these are the guys that were fighting for independence. Yeah. They met exactly. They met MLK. They met Malcolm X. Those guys went to Africa.
That was Pan-Africanism. Yes,
at its height, right? So to think of African school curriculums today, and kids don't know who these guys are, but they know who Shakespeare is.
Right, but
right
to build on that, the onus and you're right, brother. You're right. But the onus has to be on us as African people to create. I got a Pan-African Saturday school here, and this is the idea that I got from some brothers and sisters in the UK 10 years ago. We've got to teach our children our history. The late great Dr. Amos Wilson said, when you have a culture, you won't let another person impose a set of values on you. And we have a falsified consciousness, our family in the diaspora and our family on the continent. We have to understand that. And we have to get over this. I hate to say tribalism, but that's what people know it as. But we have to get over this ethnicism. We have to stop fighting over damn colonial flags. We have to. That's been our biggest hindrance. And if we're really honest about it, that is how we got in this situation in the first place, because of lack of unity. I'm talking way back. We have to be honest. We have to start there, and we have to not make these same mistakes. But go ahead, family. I just wanted to chime in.
No, you're spot on. I think, clearly the divide and conquer piece was critical in in how you guys got there, right? Straight up.
Right.
So they came, I was reading this historical piece about the real Amazons. You ever heard about the fighting women from Dahomey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the
Totally.
real Amazons. That's where they got the idea for the Dora Milaje from Black Panther, right? It's those women and the Oyo Empire, which is where Oshun is now, where Dinah's hometown is. The Oyo Empire used to actively fight against those people.
About the home.
Yeah.
Dahomey, but Dahomey, their fiercest warriors were a group of women. And they said when they fought the French had guns, but they said they made them earn it. So you see stuff like that, but then you also realize that in a lot of different areas in West Africa, which is where I'm from, I can speak about that, is that you had these cases where the Europeans came in and exploited that situation and said, hey, these guys have been ruining you guys, we'll give you guns, get us some slaves.
Exactly.
And they'll say, okay, fine, they'll run to the next community, kidnap some people. There's a guy named Bishop Ije Kruger. He was a Nigerian guy. He ended up becoming a major figure in the Anglican Church in England.
He's the guy that said that he mistranslated Ishu being the devil.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So his story, right? He got kidnapped as a slave.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, he got kidnapped as a slave by Fulani raiders. They raided a Yoruba village, and he got kidnapped. And he got sold into slavery and got taken to the UK. So and then over there, I guess a white dude kind of liked him, and they ended up bringing him up in the church and became a bishop. But stuff like that, where you had slave raids. As a matter of fact, the part of Nigeria I'm from in Delta State is called Patani. And that name of that place, it got the name because Patani was a rallying cry whenever the slave raiders were coming in. So it's right next to the Atlantic Ocean, right? So you would have slave raiders come into the inner land, kidnap people, and then take them out, put them on ships, Portuguese or Spanish ships, and those guys would take them to the Americas. So the area I'm from, they created a vigilante group, and they would actively create a rallying cry whenever these guys were coming, and they would say Patani, so people will understand immediately slave raiders are coming, and they would rally to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. So you had a lot of communities like that in West Africa where you had slave raids. You had slave raids, man, and it was bad. And in some cases, it was people raiding so they could get guns from Europeans, and they were exploiting that situation to favor one against the other. So, Black, you're right, my man. It's a function of
family. We still fall for that now, brother. Except now they will sow the seeds of division from a gender perspective, from a class perspective. We get caught in that class stratification. All of this shit. We have to understand the source of this. So for sure, great point, brother. And but you see them still doing the same things now.
No, I see it, man. I tell you what, I had to control myself the other day because I listened to this rant from Candace Owens about.
Fam, don't waste your time.
I didn't want to, but I've realized that a lot of times to prepare yourself to be able to engage those people that you can't stand, you got to listen to what they have to say. So as much as it pissed me off, I sat down and I listened through it. And what got me was you had a man that was killed, murdered, and you're attacking the dead.
But family, look, let me. So with some people I understand, but let me tell you, Candace Owens specifically, she's an opportunist. She doesn't even believe the thing she said. Now, to be clear, she is a little coonette, but she's an opportunist. She's an opportunist. She's not somebody that, sometimes you have people that, they have a deep-seated racial inferiority complex, internalized oppression, and I'm not saying she doesn't. But her main MO is saying the most inflammatory, self-hating shit, and that's why it's so over the top and so overt. You understand what I'm saying? As opposed to like Stacey Dash or Sheriff Clark there's a lot of clowns, but she's so over the top with it that she's tipping her hand. She's telling us what it is because the dominant society they're gonna prop her up to say that shit. So don't family.
Yeah,
you got I feel you. You're right, but we just charge her ass to the game, man, because we got,
Yeah,
we got
her time is coming
work
though.
to do.
Her time is coming.
Yeah.
Like people like that, they play this game, and the people manipulating them, it'll get to a point they're not going to need them anymore.
But here's the
And
thing, she's not. But I feel, but she's not being manipulated. She knows what she's doing. She wants to do that. You know what I mean? Like she knows, like, okay, my power is in letting the dominant society trot me out, in front of everybody, and be the the mouthpiece for the most ridiculous anti-black rhetoric. She's aware of that. But like you said, her time will come because Coonan doesn't have a retirement plan. And as the late great, I mean,
All right.
we know what it is. And as Paul Mooney said, she'll get her Negro wake up call, and
oh yeah, it's
same
coming.
thing with Omarosa. Yeah,
Yeah, Omarosa already got
But we
hers,
got
though,
work to
right?
do.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Oh yeah, I think we lost him or something. Okay, he's back.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Yeah, brother. Let me get somebody else on, brother. But we appreciate you.
Hey, not a problem, man.
Hey, thank you, Keith. Much love and respect, brother.
Much love. Keep doing your good work, man.
All right, for sure.
All right, bye.
Dawo.
Hey, Dynast. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
So, yeah, it's just to
Peace.
peace, Mr. Black. Just to add to the topic of tonight, the brother mentioned what is the post situation after this event, and my answer is I would just copy and paste for my friend, the African superstar, fight or flight. And I believe that those who can fight and those who are part of the FBA, the DOS or ADOS, you want to fight for the country, for your, if that is, you believe that is your country, yes, fight for it. Go for it. Go to the end. There shouldn't be any gray area. Go to the end. But for me, for those who have the other option, which is the African option, I say this is the perfect time for you to make your move. Africa is the place to be. There's too many business opportunities in Africa right now that people are begging. They are begging us to come to do business with them. And this is what my company does, the Global African Investors Alliance. We put together investment groups. We have talented people back home who are just waiting for us to come and invest in them for peanuts. For peanuts. I've got somebody who contacted me not very long time ago. All he needed was about $3,000 for his business, a viable business. I've got somebody right now who his family owns a hospital in Nigeria for the past 30 years. And he invented a software to organize the medical industry in Nigeria. Right now, the medical industry still rely on paper. So if there was to be fire in the hospital, everything is gone. And he came up with this software. He came up with this software. And he's got plenty of clients, about 30 or 40 clients already. This software is already up and running. And he's looking for investors to invest in it. And he's saying to me, I was talking to him about 2 days ago. He said to me, Taiwo, I've got so many friends, so many people in IT who are inventing things that have been stolen by the West. Stolen by the West, because the Western people, the Chinese, are the ones coming to invest in those technologies and stealing it from them. And he approached me and he said to me, Taiwo, I don't want to do business with the West. I want to do business with my people.
Look, I agree 100%. And as a Pan-Africanist, I feel the same way you feel. We need to boss up and have, as we say, Kuji Jagalia, self-determination, and do our thing. But I also want to reframe something, just if I can. ADOS and FBA are not, like, if we use the juxtaposition of fight or flight, these are not people who are fighting. These are Negro assimilationists. These are people that are saying, I'm not African, and I want to say I'm not African so I can get reparations. Now, granted, African people, Africans in America, stolen Africans, Yes, we deserve reparations, but we don't need the anti-African rhetoric and all that silliness that comes with it. So I just want to say that real quick, that, you know, ADOS, FBA, these are not people who are fighting for what's owed, because I do believe, you know, we are owed a debt, and we're gonna get it one way or the other. But at the same time, you know, their dominant orientation is to distance themselves from Africanness, not just fight. They are not fighting. They are.
Which is a shame, because I don't understand. Here is the mathematics in the whole thing. Everybody in the world goes to Africa to get their source, to get everything they need is in Africa. So when we're saying to you as an African, I'm saying to my brothers in the diaspora, Africa is home. Why don't you come and claim the source? Why are you allowing other people to come in and just bastardize your inheritance? And you want to cling on nothingness. There's nothing in diaspora. Nothing. Yeah. There's only suffering. There's only suffering.
I agree.
You know.
I mean, family, look, we should have put a nail in the coffin of ADOS FBA a long time ago. But so I feel you, but like we got to keep going forward as Pan-Africanists, as people who are saying we don't want your damn blood money, we don't want your blood diamonds, we want to avenge our ancestors. We don't want to, you know, to love you and marry into this system. You know, like, as people who reject that, as people who tap into that again, that revolutionary spirit, that warrior class, our natural ethos, you know, we got to just focus on what we want to do. The rest of these cowards and coons, they'll come along eventually once they realize that, you know, I know it can come as a surprise to a lot of these people, but white people do lie and they don't respect treaties and all this. You know, the Native American families can attest to that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So they'll see that.
I would say to my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, you either fight or flight. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm for me, you know, I'm all for power, and I go to the source of power. The source of power is in Africa. Anybody today, there's no excuses. There's no excuses for us not to invest in Africa. Nothing. Everything is there for us, and the people there are begging to do business with our people. Right now, people can go on the website of Gaia, put a deposit of less than $1,000 down for a real estate in Nigeria, in Lagos, for an apartment, a condo in Lagos for less than $1,000, and you can pay over 5 years. So there's no excuses to say Africa is too expensive, Africa is unaffordable. And today, someone who is a hairdresser in the United States, you can come to Nigeria tomorrow and establish a business. We will help you. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a teacher, you're a nurse. You want to come, when you're ready to go, you're ready to move. We're here for you. We're here to help. Go on our website, Global African Investors. Get in touch with us. We'll help you. We will help you relocate. We'll help you relocate.
You said that's called globalafricaninvestors.com?
Alliance.com. Yes. Can somebody please put the website on there?
Can we put that on the description at some point?
Ekabo.africa, right?
Ekabo.africa, yes. Ekabo.africa. Yeah, if anybody that is ready to move, anybody that is ready to make a move, you say that America, you're fed up of America, come to us. And in fact, what I've done, I'm waiving with the agency, we're waiving our fees. We're not even going to charge you to help you. We're helping you for free. You want to relocate, you've had enough for what is going on over there, contact us. We'll help you establish yourself. We'll even make sure that within 2 years, you get your papers, you get your Nigerian passport.
Y'all reach out to our sister. People always talk about what's the continent doing, how they giving back. There it is right there. Don't get much more than that.
There it is.
And right now, we've been working with Dynast for some time now, and we've put together quite a few investment clubs, companies. We're not farming, massive farm in Nigeria with about how many investors? 78 investors. People put that money together, and we're doing something big right now. And this is not the only investment club that we've put together. We've put together some before, and we're putting together more right now. So when you are ready, when you say enough is enough, come to us. Right. Come to us. Don't say Africans don't love you. We love you so much that I came out of retirement to come and help.
We appreciate you, sister.
Africa loves you. Africa wants to do business with you. There's absolutely no reason why to say, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to suffer. No. You're staying because you love suffering. You are addicted to abuse. You're addicted to abuse.
Facts.
It is a fact. Most of our people, we think that there's a honor. There's a honor in taking abuse, because that's what the Bible told us. Suffer on this earth and go and enjoy in paradise. What the fuck where's paradise? Paradise is here. Who knows what's going to be, what's after that? We don't know. Take your enjoyment here. And the thing is, when I say to people, it's so much easier in Africa to succeed. So much easier.
Absolutely.
You're right, sister.
I'm going to be on Dallas show on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, 11 a.m. Standard Time.
To expand some more.
I'll be tuning in.
Because right now, I'm at a point of frustration. Because I don't know what it's going to take. When is the point of anger? When is the point of saying, fuck all this? There's a beast here that is eating me, that is eating my ancestors for centuries. When are you going to say, I'm going to fuck this beast in the air so hard that it's going to, sorry my language, but when I'm angry, I can't swear. Sorry, Dynast, I apologize.
It's okay.
I really apologize. It just seems that our point of anger just keeps shifting. To watch
what it is, I think one day, even though it's been 400 years, one day, Black people think that white people are going to say, you know what, we're going to split everything 50-50 with you guys, finally. I think Black people really think
that's mental illness. That is mental illness thinking. You see somebody that's so comfortable, that takes pleasure in watching you suffer. When I see somebody on TV crying, when I see a Black man on TV crying, I say, what the fuck? Why? What are you crying for?
Right.
Are you crying? What is it fighting you?
Right.
What is it desiring you to take revenge? I don't even know how so much of us are so easily forgiven. Revenge should be our meal. Revenge should be what we eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
Forgiveness is for the weak.
Right.
When you read history, and this is the thing, we Africans, unfortunately, in Africa, we are not taught history. So I give them that ignorance. But for we Black people in the diaspora, what's wrong with us? Don't we know that we are the warriors of our people? And we sit down and we say, oh, forgiveness. We hug the people who are killing our children, killing our men. We hug them. What the hell? What's wrong with us? That's mental illness.
Like Wahidism says, like I said, for many African Americans, USA is the beginning and the end in their mind. That's what it is. This is the beginning and end. They hate America, but they love America at the same time.
Well, they believe that their history started here. A lot of them, their history started with slavery. That's why they call themselves ADOS and stuff like that. My life didn't begin until I was enslaved by this. And don't get me started on that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to say, I'm going to end on this because I believe some other people are waiting in the background. What I want to say is, listen, my people in the diaspora, the African diaspora, you are living in the belly of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? Pray? Cry? Beg? That's weakness. You need to take out whatever weapons you can get and cut that beast right from the stomach to the head. Cut it and get out. If you, with what is going on right now, if you haven't reached the point of the angry no return, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to you. And I got to this point years ago. Years ago. And you're seeing people in the streets fighting, destroying things. Yeah, go and destroy whatever you want to destroy, but you call those people your allies? Don't you know history? You have no friends. We have no friends. We are all we've got. So coming from an African woman, I'm talking to my American, South American, European, Caribbean brothers and sisters. We are all we've got. So please, unity is the only way out. And anger should be what feeds us, right. Not prayers. Not weak. Prayer is for the weak. Begging is for the weak. Throw away your Bibles and pick up your guns. Right now, we need warriors. We don't need crybabies. We need financial warriors, and we need military warriors. So whichever camp you think you are, pick up your weapon and fight. So anyway, I'm going to be on the show on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And my points.
Okay, and thank you very much. I'll be tuning in for sure.
Thank you very much, Black. Thank you, Dynast.
No problem. Thank you, Taiwo.
Right, take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, Djuan, we'll go ahead and close out, brother. Anything you'd like to share in closing?
Well, I want to say much love and respect to everyone who's on the call. Look, we keep striving. We continue to work. Again, let's before they try to quell this revolutionary energy that's swirling around amongst our people globally, we know naturally this is what they're going to do. This is time for us to go harder and deeper into the work. Let's organize it. Any serious Pan-Africanists that are about Black power, Black resourcefulness, Black solidarity, just contact me, man. You know, I got a Facebook, Djuan Owens, Instagram, Djuan, DJ WAN. I think it's like 3 or 4 underscores, but you know, hit me up, man. You know, I'll give you my number. I don't do all that, you know, email and all. I'm gonna get my people call. Yo, people, look, if you're serious, let's get serious, man. Y'all got my brother Dynast information too. Let's get serious. Let's be about Black business. Let's be about Black solidarity. You know, let's just not wait until executions, lynchings are caught on tape to be about revolution. And I want to be clear, revolution, not reform. And I'll end it on that note.
Absolutely.
I appreciate all of y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com, go to amazon.com, grab a book. Until next time, family, Dynast Amir, search for Huru. Peace.
All right, Dynast, my man.
Peace.